Hello, our dear online viewers and listeners at home and everywhere you are. You are welcome to Edu Nation Agency Workshop. I will be your presenter. My name is Taiwo Ogunwale. I will be educating you, our dear online viewers, on a very important topic, overweight and obesity. The goals of this workshop are as follows. We're targeting youth, white and Native Americans, both male and female, age 15 to 24, Igbi Idao, with the goal to educate, create awareness, and provide essential information on lose weight, fake weight, and prevent diabetes. Also, to inform the youth of the health effects of these chronic health impairments, that is, overweight and obesity. And lastly, I will be recommending stroke prevention and call to action to the youth in regards to this workshop, that is on obesity and overweight. Now let's begin with the problem description of overweight and obesity. As you might have known or must have heard that according to the kidney.org website, define overweight or obese that they are the both terms for having more body fat than what is considered healthy. Both are used to identify people who are at risk of health problems from having too much body fat. However, the term obese generally means a much higher amount of body fat than overweight. Now let's look at the problem statistics of these chronic diseases. Obesity is the most prevalent nutritional disorder among children and adolescents in the United States. Approximately 21 to 24% of American children and adolescents are overweight, and another 16 to 18% is obese. So the prevalence of obesity is highest among specific ethnic groups. Now, what are the statistics of overweight and obesity among ethnicity? Obesity rates among the youth aged 15 to 24 of Native Americans is 48.1 compared to the non-Hispanic whites 30.0. According to the Department of Health and Human Services Office of Minority Health, American Indian and Alaska adults are 1.6 times more likely to be obese than Caucasians. In addition, almost 33% of all American Indians and Alaska natives are obese. Now let's look at the risk factors of overweight and obesity. They are as follows. First, there will be high blood pressure, followed by high level of blood fat and diabetes and LDL cholesterol, and lastly, all risk factors of heart diseases and stroke. Now I'm presenting you a graph, and this graph is showing you the amount of high rate of overweight and obesity among high school students, and I'm using the Youth Risk Behavior Survey from 2001 to 2009. From this graph, it highlights 4 ethnic groups, but my focus will be on the whites, which is and the American Indian. And as you can see from the graph, there is high level of obesity among American Indians compared to the whites, which is a little bit lower. And when we look at the other year, we'll be able to see that they almost the same thing. So that is to tell us that these chronic diseases is among our high school students, and it tells us that there is an immediate action that needs to be taken. Now, when we understand this concept of this health impairment, then what does it ask on the national budget? Now, according to the National Estimated Costs of Chronic Diseases, 90% of the nation's 3.8 trillion in annual health care expenditure are for people with chronic and mental health conditions, and this is an alarming for us as a nation that we need to take a drastic steps in order to cut or minimize these chronic diseases. Now, when 90% of the nation's budget have gone to chronic diseases, so it tells us from the graph, from the table that I'm presenting to you, that that means that the medical cost per person in the United States is 1,429. And when we look at the research that has been conducted in the past, especially in 2008, the country has spent over 147 billion. This is very alarming. So in conclusion of this conference, as I made mention in my introduction, that I will recommend to prevention and call to action. So the first thing that I will recommend for us in order to take care of these chronic diseases, because I know from outside that they are living with us. So the first thing that we need to do is that we need to eat and serve more healthy traditional foods when you can, and this is direct to the parents that are making the food at home. And secondly, there is a need to eat more fruits and vegetables, and also eat fewer foods in high fats and sugars. So if we can do these things, then it helps. And also we need to choose you need to choose to drink water instead of sugary drinks. So this will also help in preventing this overweight and obesity. And lastly, before I run off, that there is a need, I will say urgent need, of physical exercise. So I know this could be challenging, but I will suggest or recommend that if you can break down your exercise into smaller chunks, that is, you try for 10 minutes a brisk walks for 3 times in a day, 5 days in a week, and so on, then it will help you to reduce or prevent this overweight. And lastly, I will love to appeal to the stakeholders, and when I talk about stakeholders, I'm talking about the school authority where these students are much involved. I'm referring also to the parents at home, and also I'm also referring to the employers also in our community to help us promote programs that will help people, especially the youth, to make healthy choices, such as offering them more healthy snacks. The parents should make traditional foods that are healthy at home, and also to let them get involved in activity breaks, that is, in physical activities during the day. My dear listeners and viewers at home, if we are able to adhere to this recommendation, it's not only that it will prevent the chronic diseases, it will make our youth also, as a parent, also to have a rest of mind, and they will be able to be healthy. For more information on this workshop that I'm presenting, you can find from on our website the references that are used for this workshop and other health topics that our website have addressed in www.edunation.org. I thank you all, my dear listeners and viewers at home and everywhere wherever they may be, and God bless you all.